Alright, so where we left off was lowest and highest point of the U shape. Our vertex is going to be the opposite of our H and our K. So I'm just going to put HK, but remember that that H is always our opposite. And then the axis of symmetry is going to be X equaling, well, our X, which in this case would be our H value, which again is opposite. All right, and our last page here is going to deal with the vertex and axis of symmetry. So this really isn't anything new. We're just identifying our vertex point doing the opposite of our H and then bringing down our K, not changing it. And then our axis is going to be what is that vertical line that would cut that U in half. And it's always going to be our X value. So that would be X equals 4. Okay, and then our next one is going to be vertex, opposite of positive 3, so negative 3, and then 4 for our y values. So we've just been finding our vertex point using anything on the inside, we do the opposite, and the number on the outside comes down. So it really doesn't matter if there's anything out front here, that doesn't affect our vertex. And then our axis of symmetry in this case would be negative 3. All right, and then try these last two on your own, and then you can check when you're ready. And hopefully you have paused and done them. And now you're just checking. So we should have 1, 0, x equals 1 for number 3, and then number 4, 0, 5, x equals 0. This next section, we're going to write the vertex form of the quadratic equation with the given information. So going the other direction, we're actually going to plug this back in. So let's do f of x equals. The 2 we know is going to go in the inside, and it's going to be opposite. So it's going to be a minus 2 on the inside. And then the 7 we know came from the behind part here, and it stays its same sign in a sense. All right, number 2, same thing, only this time we want to have it vertically reflected, which means that negative is going to be out front to show that it was reflected. So f of x equals, there's our negative for the reflection. We want to put the negative 3 on the inside, but we want to change it to be the opposite. And then we want the 4 on the outside, behind. So try these next two on your own. The vertical compression, remember, is going to go out front, and it's just a 1/2 out front. A vertical stretch goes out front, and it's just going to be a 5 out front. And then put your stuff inside and outside wherever it goes. Make sure to do the opposite. So try those. Pause the video. And here are your answers. Okay, so we should have the 1/2 out front. The reflection means we should have a negative in front of the 1/2. The negative 1 becomes a positive 1 on the inside, and then there's nothing behind. Make sure that you don't forget the squared, because that's what our parent function is. Since these are quadratic equations, we have to have this squared. So vertical stretch, 5 out front, and it could just be 5x squared. You don't really need parentheses in this case since there's nothing inside with it. And then the minus 2 behind. All right, last questions here. We're going to switch it from standard form to vertex form. So that way we could actually graph it, work with it in the form that we're used to. So this is our vertex form, what we're kind of used to pulling the vertex out of. And this is standard form, which we've seen it in at the beginning. So h is going to be negative b over 2a, and we use that to get our starting x value. So this is x, or in a sense, our h, which is our first coordinate in our vertex. And then in order to find the k, the number behind, we actually plug h in for x. So plug this value into the function. So plug h in for x in the standard form and solve. All right. So let's go ahead and try an example, and then you try one on your own. So first step is to identify A, B, and C. So I'm just going to put a little a, little b, little c, because it's in standard form. Next, we're going to find the h, which I do that by using the negative b over 2a. So plugging that in, it would be the opposite of negative 12, so positive 12, over 2 times a, which is 2. So this is 12 divided by 4, or 3. So this is my x value, or my h, and I'm going to plug this 3 back in to the function above. So 2 times 3 squared minus 12 times 3 plus 16. Remember to do the exponents first. So it's 2 times 9, and then multiplication next. So this is 18 minus 36 plus 16, which is going to give us negative 2. So this is my k, this is my h. So I'm going to plug in the a, the h, and the k into vertex form. Excuse me. So f of x equals my a, which up here is 2, parentheses, so I'm using vertex form here, just plugging in the a, the h, and the k. So x minus my h, which is 3, make sure it's squared, and then my k out back here, that negative 2. Okay, I really want you to try the next one on your own. It will help. So first, follow these steps, just like I did for number 1. So pause the video and try it on your own. All right, and here are the answers. So let's check. Label ABC. Use the negative b over 2a first, and then you get your h, negative 1/3. Then we plug in negative 1/3, and we square it, multiply it by 3, multiply it here, and then we add it. So we get negative 9, and you can use your calculator. And then we plug in the a, we plug in the h, and we plug in the k. And now it's in vertex form, so it's a lot easier to graph it.